Welcome back to Gamer Unite. I'm your host, G.A.M.E.R here, and welcome to Player Way, Episode 3 of Video Game Podcast, covering gaming news, games, reviews, and more. And boy, do we have an exciting one for you today. One that you're not really going to get the rest of the year because there's, maybe, who knows, there might be more of these in the future, who knows. But the Xbox Developer Direct 2024 has officially taken place, and we're going to be talking, giving our thoughts, our impressions surrounding the event and the games that were showed here, and taking an updated look at Xbox's 2024. As always, if you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing with your friends. We love video games. We want to share that with the love around players around the world, regardless of platform or genre interests. We play games because we enjoy them, and we want to celebrate that by talking about them. And yeah, I'm here joined by our co-host, Christian. How you going?
Bob.
It is pretty great, man. And I will say, if you guys hate Xbox, or if you guys have no interest or no relationship or just want absolutely nothing to do with Xbox, probably turn the podcast off right now, because this entire podcast is pretty much going to be Xbox related. So just going to clarify that. But, you know, if you like video games, don't hold a grudge against a specific company. Enjoy the games. And I have to say, there are a lot of good games to look forward to that we're going to be talking about in this episode, so you might want to stick around just for that. But let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, we're not going to ruin tradition here. All right, we're not going to a tradition. We've only done it one episode. We're not going to ruin the flow of anything. We're just going to start off once again. What have you been playing recently? If you've played anything different since our last podcast.
In all honesty, I don't actually think I've really picked up a video game recently. I'll be straight up. I haven't, other than Bald Guy 3. I haven't
Bald Guy 3. Wow.
I haven't really sat down and played anything, just because it's just been a hectic, week. So
it's gonna change within the next week. I'm telling you right now, because I'm gonna almost force you to play a game. Okay.
I have to play. Yeah. Well, you're so right. Actually, tomorrow I have to play Last of Us Part 2 Remastered.
Oh my God.
You're so right. I didn't think about it like that, man.
Oh wow.
But yeah, no, I'm.
There you go, Sony ponies. There you go. We got PlayStation in the podcast.
It's the only time I'm gonna mention anything PlayStation.
That's funny.
But yeah, other than that, I haven't really played anything. Anything video games. I want to, though. I just really haven't had the chance.
Yeah.
How about you?
I finished Prince of Persia. Let me tell you guys, by the time this has come out, I have the review on the channel. I have a Metroidvania ranking. Prince of Persia is included in that. It's in my top 5 Metroidvanias. I beat that game in under 2 days of release, of early access. I beat the game before the game even officially released. It officially released today, and I beat it 2 days ago. Not because it's short. I want to clarify that right now. I did not beat it because it's short. I have 22 hours in the game, okay? I have 22 hours in a game. A Metroidvania, which is a good time for Metroidvania. Metroid Dread was only 10 hours. Not because it was short, because it was so freaking good. It was so freaking good. I loved it. Yeah, it is already, it's going to be really hard to beat that game this year. It was just so good. But other than that, I haven't really played anything else. But I will be starting something tomorrow. And I hope I can get Christian to also start it with me. But anyway.
Are we doing CrossFit or something? What is that called?
yeah. CrossFit, yeah.
CrossFit. I think it's what it's called.
Okay, well, for me, I'm gonna be replaying something. For you, I want you to play it for your first time, because I know we can both finish it before the next podcast, because it's really short. It's Hellblade. Okay, I don't know why.
Oh yeah, so sorry. I completely was not catching on to that at all.
No, it's like a 5 to 6 hour game, as long as you don't get stuck on a puzzle for hours. It's like a 5 to 6 hour game, and after today, I want to get my hands on it again. And
I'm sorry, as long as you don't get stuck on a puzzle for hours.
Oh, well, look, that wasn't me, okay? I did not. I don't know what you're talking about.
I
I didn't do it. Okay,
was
I'm not
doing
gonna
all
lie.
my friends in puzzle games,
Okay,
but they were
I'm
just
not.
not good at them.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. So it was the like very first puzzle in the game. I'm not gonna lie. I spent like 45 minutes on it for no reason, and it ended up being like I was just stupid. I was just missing something really obvious. Um, but that was like the hardest thing. Like that was like the hardest puzzle. I didn't get stuck on any other puzzle, but it was that like very first puzzle. I was there for like 45 minutes. I'm like, oh, I hate this game, and then I was like, oh, I'm stupid. Never mind. I love this game.
I can't wait. I can't
Yeah.
wait for one of the games we're gonna talk about later on the podcast.
Oh.
Whenever that comes out, you're gonna be like, "How do I put this dial in here?"
Oh, that's funny. All right, but anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get talking about the Xbox Developer Direct. So I'm gonna go ahead and hand it off to you, Chris. I want you to just give number one, what was your expectations for this event, and number two, what is your overall impression of the event, and then number three, did it meet your expectations? Did it exceed, or did it fall under your expectation?
I kind of mentioned this right before the podcast started, but I don't know, I thought it was good. I didn't think it was anything blow out of the water, like I didn't think it was like it didn't change my perspective on gaming or anything, but I definitely felt like it did what it set out to do. I mean, like it gave us a good general insight on the games that are coming out, the main stakes that are coming out from Xbox this year, right now that we know of. I mean, we obviously got. I mean, what I wanted to see was there. I wanted to see Avowed. I kind of wanted to see the Indiana game, the Indiana Jones game. Well, I wanted to see. Uh, Honestly, the Visions of Mana was actually kind of a surprise there. I was glad we got to see as much of that as we did. But I mean, in all honesty, my expectations were kind of at a. I'm expecting this to be about as good as last year's. I don't know if it blew it out of the water, but it definitely looks pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I will say we are a little different on this, but that is completely okay. Everybody's gonna be a little different. For me personally, I actually had high expectations going into this, just because for me, if you look at the like 4 games outside of the hidden one, obviously last year the hidden one was Hi-Fi Rush, and this year's the hidden one was Visions of Mana. If you look at the 4 games that they announced were going to be at the show, last year we were talking ESO, Minecraft Legends, Forza Motorsport, and Redfall. Really, only out of those 4, the only one I was really excited for was Redfall, and Forza. Forza's great, but I'm not like super into Forza Motorsport. Forza Horizon would be a different story, but Forza Motorsport I wasn't like super interested in. And then of course Hi-Fi Rush made that thing incredible. But this year we have Hellblade 2, Our History Untold, Avowed, and Indiana Jones. 3 of the 4 I am ecstatic about. So I did go into this one expecting a much better event, and I'm not gonna lie, it exceeded my expectations. Even for my high expectations. I thought it was just phenomenal. Not perfect or not like one of the best events I've ever seen. I will say that, but I think like what you said specifically. You said you think it like did its job. Like it did what it's supposed to, and I think that's exactly right. Like it just seemed like the perfect event for Xbox to have at the beginning of this year.
Yeah, well, because we didn't need something to like blow us out of the water
Right.
yet. Because I mean, it's the beginning of the year, it's like we didn't need something that was going to be like we're going to show off every one of our new games right now. It's like there was no point in that. It was like
Yeah.
genuinely, I think people who watched the event were Xbox kids who were like, hey, I want to know what's going to be coming out on my console this year. Like I want to know because we haven't heard anything. We haven't heard a lot about half the stuff on here. And wanted to wanting to know what they might be able to play, day one Game Pass most of the time. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I will say I think this event was definitely I don't want to say geared towards me because I mean even you just said
it was actually
you
it was
found
it was actually
really-
for you.
like
That's insane. It was
okay,
actually for you.
I mentioned this in my reaction that should be up on the channel now. I'm not sure if it uploaded yet. Um, literally last podcast, we were going through our anticipated games of 2024, and I literally put in my biggest surprise category that Visions of Mana. Right, I put Visions of Mana because I'm like, my excitement has been ever increasing in that game since the reveal trailer, and I'm just weirdly super excited for the game. And out of any hidden surprise game, first of all, I can't believe they went third party. That's crazy. I was pretty surprised to see third party. And then second of all, for it to be Square Enix, their relationship has been trying to get stronger recently, so that was really cool to see. And then the number 3, for it to be literally the game that I just said last week that I am super excited for a weird reason, showed up, and I was like, wow. They're like trying to speak to me. Like it was pretty cool. It was really interesting. And then so even on top of the other 3 that I was already super excited about, I then got that, and I was like, oh, this is wonderful. This is wonderful.
Yeah. I do remember because like I wasn't home whenever I was watching the event. I was
Yep.
out, like I got a haircut, and I went and got food, and I went and saw my girlfriend. So like I had it up on my phone the entire time, listening to it like as a podcast. And all of a sudden, like as soon as like I pull out my phone whenever I'm walking over to Chick-fil-A, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's Square Enix. Wait, what?
Yeah, literally.
And I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I was like, why is Square Enix here? That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was definitely excited for it.
Yeah. And then even outside of that, I thought what they showed was really good, but we're going to talk about that later. We're kind of just going over our initial thoughts. I will say, which this is so hard to kind of talk about and be fair, because it's not like the entire event is going to be geared towards us, right? Like, because for me, I just do not care about Aura History Untold whatsoever. And therefore, I did find that whole section of the event really slow and really boring. But at the same time, I'm not going to tell them to not put it in there, because there is a large community that does love it, and that is one of their games. It's not like every game they're going to have is going to be specifically geared towards me. But at the same time, this is our opinion, and personally, that was the worst part of the event, was just Our History Untold. But that's completely personal. That is literally nothing against anybody who actually finds the game enjoyable. I actually think if you are a fan of that genre, it looks pretty great for if you like that genre. But for me, that was easily the worst part. But I shouldn't even say the worst part. I should just say the least interesting part. But yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this before we start talking about each game specifically. What was your favorite? What was your game of the show, and what was your? Yeah, no, just that. What was your game of the show?
You know,
I already know.
there's 2 games. There's 2
Oh,
games. There's 2 games here. It really was a tie between, obviously the one that I was like kind of hyping up, Avowed.
Yep.
Just the gameplay looks super
You're
freaking
good.
snappy.
You're good.
And like the way they were talking about it in the showcase. I mean, that combat, it may look stiff compared to like what what we have seen sometimes, but you gotta think there's a lot of games like who have this fluid movement, but they utilize the third person for that fluid movement. So like it being fully first person while you're doing all this stuff, I mean, it was super cool. I mean, I'll be straight up. I didn't gasp, but I definitely like chuckled whenever they said like sharpshooter, and then like the main character pulled out a gun, and I was like, that's so funny to me.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, it's straight up. I mean, Indiana Jones and the Fantastic Orb. I'm so. That's just so. I'm so sorry. I mean, if Indiana Jones uh, and the Great Circle.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of actually really liked the gameplay of that. That was actually seems like a very fun game. I'm glad that they're not. Shying away from whip combat and cheaping out and being like, well, he has his whip for melee attacks, but he has a gun, Like, I'm glad there was like, it's like he has his whip Like his whip is all he. Indiana Jones is whip. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that I'm glad to see that it's definitely living up to like a good like I already have a good expectation of this game just
Yeah.
from what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
So
I mean, hands down, tenfold, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was my game of the show. I cannot believe how excited I am. Actually,
Mhm.
like I can believe that it looks good because it's Machine Games, and I mean it's an Indiana Jones game. I mean it's gonna look somewhat good, but my excitement, I was not prepared to at the end of that showing be like, oh my gosh, I want to play this so bad. Um, I was not expecting that whatsoever.
I also liked how the main guy said Indiana Jones, or like the way he said
Indiana
Jones.
Jones, Indiana Jones,
Yeah, the way he
Indiana
said
Jones.
that, I actually
Yeah.
really liked that. I don't know.
Uh, yeah. I just couldn't believe it. Yeah, Indiana Jones was hands down my game of the show. Now that's what's crazy, and that's why I personally just, oh my god, I keep on getting like this weird hiccup. Why I personally think this whole show was just really great for me, at least, was just the fact that Indiana Jones was easily my game of the show, and yet that isn't my like. If I go through my entire list of games coming out this year, it's not even like at the top of my most anticipated games of the year, right? Like Hellblade 2 is either second or first in that ranking, right? Like
Hmm.
Hellblade is easily one of my most anticipated games of the year, if not my most. And the fact that that wasn't even my game of the show is crazy. The fact that there was something else that could excite me more than one of my most anticipated games of the year, and then there was something else that sold me on a game that I was very um curious and skeptical about, being Avowed. And then the fact that it was a surprise game that I've personally been growing in excitement. I've been wanting to see more, and it was there. Out of every game, it was there. So, yeah, I personally just thought it at least for me personally, it hit all the right notes. But yeah, so okay, let's go ahead and talk about. Let's just go in order from the show, and let's go ahead and talk about Avowed. Um, Obsidian's Obsidian Entertainment, in my opinion, Xbox's best studio. Um, I mean, I don't know. Are we good making that claim? I think I'm definitely good making that claim.
I definitely think it's one of the claims of all time. Yeah.
One of the
Um.
claims of all time. uh,
No, I agree. I don't know if I agree, but at the same time, I don't know if I could disagree. I don't think I
right.
could. I don't think I could realistically be like,
I think the
no,
argument's there for a
you know.
lot of studios, but I don't think you can prove this claim wrong. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because okay, hands down, no debate about it. In terms of quantity, they are
Mhm.
the best for Xbox. They
You know, I agree with that.
they released Outer Worlds. They released Grounded. They
Yeah,
released
yeah, it
Pentiment.
was yeah.
They Grounded, Pentiment, and now we got Avowed coming out. Yeah, just absolutely great. But yeah, Avowed, man. So I went into this really hoping that they would have a good showing, and I was very satisfied. Because for me, I've had a really roller coaster ride with this game. Okay, when it was first revealed, back in 2020 at the before the Series X even came out, it was like that showcase where they just revealed a whole bunch of title cards, a bunch of CG trailers, really no gameplay for anything except Halo Infinite, and everybody hated it. It was a really weird showcase. Yeah. And they revealed Avowed, and I was like, yo, that looks sick. Okay, I'm here for it. It kind of looks like their attempt at Skyrim. Then last year happened, their summer showcase, and they showed a little gameplay trailer, and they completely changed the art style. They announced that they had a complete revamp of the art style, and that they were trying to make it less and less like Skyrim as possible. And not that quote is what made me feel weird. I just wasn't sure how I was feeling about the game. I was like, I don't know. It just didn't capture what I was expecting from that original trailer. And I wasn't completely sold on what I was looking at in terms of visuals and combat. Now, the thing is, it being Obsidian Entertainment, I still had excitement and I still had faith and hope. I never once think it's going to be a bad game. I was just never sure if I was going to. I just didn't have that excitement for it that I typically have with games like that. And so I was really hoping that this would do that. And I can happily say I'm very excited for this game now. Because number one, I think even if you just compare from last year's trailer, I think the visuals are looking much, much better. And I love all the different areas and regions and biomes that you see in the game. I think it looks really cool. I think it just looks more crisp. it just looks more crisp, and it looks more polished and like really layered. And I no longer have any complaints or doubts about the visuals. We didn't get as much story as I would have liked. They talked a lot about how you will be interacting with like characters and stuff, but nothing about the actual like overarching plot, right? Unless I missed it, but I don't really think they did. And then in terms of gameplay, this is the only part that I am not 100% sold on, but I'm still liking what I'm seeing, right? The gunslinging looks awesome. Okay, the gunsling, if the fact that you can pull out a revolver, even go dual wield if you want, is awesome. I actually think the whole spell casting with the wand and everything, I think that looks awesome. The fact that you can go dual wands and just be like a wand gunslinger, that's pretty sweet. My big issue is the melee combat right now. I don't, off of just looking at it, of course, playing it's going to be completely different, and they still have time to polish it up a little bit. To me, I feel like it's lacking impact. Like, I feel like it doesn't look very satisfying to like hit enemies with a sword or block an attack. It kind of looks a little like you said, stiff. Like it looks very stiff, and it doesn't look like, I don't know, it kind of just seems a little, I don't want to say boring, because it doesn't look boring. It looks really cool, but I don't feel like it's as thrilling as I wanted. That's the only complaint I have about the gameplay, is just that melee combat with the sword and everything, that's something else I found really weird about the trailer, is they showed a great axe. They showed like an axe, and we didn't even get to see them swing the axe, I don't think, unless I, again, missed it. So I'd really like to see that. But as far as the sword and shield goes, I'm not completely sold on that. But everything else I think is really cool. I think the whole system of being able to mix and match between, one pistol, one wand, or a sword and a wand, or two guns, or a shield and a gun. Like, the fact that you can mix and match it looks really, really cool. I think the whole abilities and all the spells and everything look really, really cool. Like I said, I like everything about the combat except that melee. I'm not 100% feeling the melee. But even then, if that is what it is, it's not like bad. I just wish they could update it a little bit. I don't think it's bad, like it's gonna ruin the game or anything. I want them to maybe polish it up a little bit more. But other than that, I think Avowed had a great showing. And I'm gonna say it right now, as terrible as this is gonna sound, I know you are gonna be like, you are gonna hate me, but at the same time, you're probably gonna understand, because if you know me, if you've been watching this channel and everything, I know Christian knows me, I'm a sucker for this. It has one of the best cover arts I've ever seen in my life. Holy moly. That, I don't know who they hired to make that cover art, but they just let him cook. He understood the assignment. Okay? I have never seen a cover art that has made me go, How? It is so gorgeous. I've seen so many people on Twitter talking about that cover art, and I saw a tweet that needs to happen. That needs to be a dynamic background on the Xbox. That needs to be a dynamic background. That would be so fire. Yeah, it was just great. So really good showing from Avowed, but I'll go ahead and let you talk about Avowed, because I know you loved it.
Yeah, no, I loved Avowed. Oof. I definitely agree. I do kind of agree with the combat and everything. Like, like I said, I like how snappy it feels, but like you said, it almost doesn't feel like there's any impact. You know, there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing. There's no like. It doesn't feel forceful in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think what they're wanting to do with it is awesome, but I definitely do think there's still slightly, a room for improvement.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I liked Avowed. I mean, I kind of already gushed about it earlier whenever I was
Yeah.
talking about it,
True.
about it being my favorite game. So,
I will
so
say
yeah,
it did get a fall 2024 release date, which is it's kind of what
baller.
I expected. So there were so many different possible scenarios that the release dates could go. I thought it would either be kind of like the first game to release. It'd be like either March, April, maybe like May or early May, or it would be fall, and it was fall. I didn't think it'd be summer or holiday. It just didn't seem like that type of game for me, and it was fall. So there is definitely still time to change things. The next time we will see it will probably be at the summer showcase where they do that whole blowout thing like they normally do. Um, and we'll probably get an official release date, and they'll probably show some updates and give us a little bit more on the game. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But yeah, Avowed, great showing, great cover art, dude. Like, no, actually, that's what I was gonna say. I've never seen a cover art, especially on an Xbox game, that has made me go, I get it for free on Game Pass, but I really want this game's physical box art. I was like,
I don't
go
know.
ahead.
I'd have to buy it. I think for that, I'd almost want to play it on Game Pass and then buy the physical.
Yeah, no, I'm
You know?
definitely not gonna buy it physically, but like it made me think about it. I'm like, wow, I really want that physical case, but I don't really want to spend the money that I don't have to. Um, thanks to Game Pass, you know. So yeah, But anyway, Avowed, Obsidian, you guys are cooking. You guys are cooking something. I really hope this ends up being another just great game. I have no doubt it will be, just because Obsidian, you are crazy, and that's like the one thing you can always. Obsidian, they are just amazing at storytelling, their narrative, their everything, and I have no doubt. Even though they didn't show a lot of that, I have no doubt it's gonna be great. Just because, I mean, look who we're talking about. So, um, but anyway, moving on to the next game, uh, Hellblade 2. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and take the reins of this one because I'm really not sure how you feel about this, like whatsoever. Everybody knows how I feel about it, so I'm really curious what you think of this.
Yeah, mid. No. I actually really liked. I think we kind of got a confirmation that it's not going to be like super long, which I'm glad we did because they
Yes.
said it was going to be another short narrative.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they actually kind of like talked about, you know, her like condition and everything.
Mm-hmm.
How it's not really. I don't know. It might be supernatural. It's not, but like they straight up call it psychosis, which I'm like, that's awesome that they actually
Yep.
stated that.
Yep.
Again, which I'm really glad they did because I was actually kind of curious about it because obviously I've never played the first one, so
Needs to
you know
change.
I'm I know it does need to change. But the fact that they talked about how they worked not only like did a bunch of I think they did a bunch of stunts, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
there's very stunt heavy in this game. Um and uh not only did they do that, but I mean, you can definitely tell it's like a passion project because they worked with an actual doctor, I think,
Oh
like
yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about the
Mm-hmm.
psychosis and um, how the main characters has to deal with that and like how she interprets that and stuff. and how
Yeah.
she's come to terms with that. And unlike the first game, she wasn't like
Yeah.
fighting against them. She's come to terms with
Hmm.
the voices in her
Now
head.
she's
You
embracing it.
know,
Yeah.
yeah. No, no, we wrong. Like the way they said it was like, don't still like still gonna be a companion, a constant companion through your playthrough, but you know, it is not like it was the last game. So I don't
Hmm.
know. I'm kind of excited though. It definitely looks good. I definitely the what they say giants and then the
Yeah.
Draugr.
Yep.
Those pretty cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, being a God of War fan, I love that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. Um, I I really can't say much more than I've already said about this game. It is easily my like I don't know. It's either FF7 or this game. It's one of the two. I could just say both. It's my most anticipated game of the year. So is FF7. Um, I thought this was once again a great showing. I think every showing this game has had has just been really great. Um, although I completely agree with you, and you touched on the stuff that specifically I wanted to talk about. Their explanation and um, information about Senua as a character and the story and like the themes on the game is and like what to expect from the game is exactly what I wanted to hear from this. And yeah, like you said, it is going to be another short experience, which thank God. I would have been okay if they would have made it like longer, but not like long. Like if it would have been like 20 hours, I don't know if I would have really liked that just because the first one is nothing even close to that.
It's like 5 hours, not even.
Right, yeah, it's like 5 6 hours. And I I'm really glad it's short. I think in like afterwards, information came out that it's going to be around 8 to 10 hours. I think that's perfect. Make it longer, bigger, but don't completely change like everything. You know what I mean? Um, and so I think that's really good. The other information we did get is that it's going to be $50, which is very interesting, and it's going to be digital only, which is why it's $50 is because it's digital only, which is okay. I mean, I understand a lot of people are very upset that, and I completely understand why. For me, I was never gonna buy this game physically. I don't even think the cover art is all that cool. I mean, it looks good, but it's not like Avowed. But and then it comes on Game Pass anyway, so I wouldn't buy a physical edition even if it did. But yeah, so it does suck. I wish it did have a physical release, but it doesn't bother me too much. I think the $50 price tag's cool though. If you don't have Game Pass, that's a deal and a half. You're getting a phenomenal. I mean, I'm assuming it's gonna be phenomenal. You're gonna get a sequel to a phenomenal game for $50. Go right ahead. But what you said about the psychosis and just all of that stuff is exactly what made the first game so special. Is it's not just a story that has a dramatic ending. It's not just a story that has high stakes or like has big set pieces or a lot of consequences, right? It's not just that story. It is a story about things that are so surreal that connect to a person so emotionally and mentally and physically to make it seem real, like, and like really connect to the player. And even if it doesn't specifically connect to you, which it didn't specifically connect to me, it connects in a way where even if you don't experience any of those things, you can relate to someone else who may experience those things. And even Senua's actor or actress, she was in there. She's a phenomenal actress, by the way. She is the perfect person to play this role, by the way. She is just phenomenal. She literally said that, and which I think was one of the best quotes they could have had during the showing, and that was that she hopes that through the game's story and through its storytelling that you'd be able to relate to Senua and what she's going through. And even if you can't relate specifically to Senua, you can relate to somebody who experiences things that Senua goes through. And I think that is just so powerful because that is exactly what makes the game so, so special. It is a story that you can't really find anywhere else. Like I can't even think of another game that you can get anywhere near the amount of like just impact that the game story leaves on you. And I think that's so good. And then yeah, like you said, the whole instead of fearing her, whatever you want to call him, now she embraces him. I think that's really cool. That sets up. I mean, that sounds like the perfect plot for a sequel to a game like this. I'm super excited. I'm super excited. Now we didn't get the one thing that I did want, or not the one thing. We didn't get something that I did want. I did want them to actually do a show an actual combat sequence, not just little snippets and trailer footage of combat. I wanted them to show somebody actually playing the game with combat, just so we can figure out how the system actually works. But we'll just see on May 21st because it did get a release date, which I'm so thankful for. Oh my gosh, finally. After 5 years, we finally have a release date. Unbelievable. And it's May 21st, which I really like that date because it'll be after school's out, which is pretty cool, just in time for summer.
Right after your birthday, too.
Right after my birthday, too, man. It's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah. Anything else you want to add on Hellblade?
Looks like hell of a blade. I'm so sorry.
Oh, my Lord.
I may be 20, but I have the humor of a 50-year-old.
Well, okay. All right. Go ahead.
No, I'm excited. I think I definitely want. I almost kind of want to play Hellblade. I'll play Hellblade 1 for all the way through, and then before Hellblade 2 comes out, I'll play it again.
Facts.
So I can almost play it in a continuation of the story type thing.
Yeah.
How I did with God of War, right? God of War and God of War Ragnarok. The
exactly.
night before it came out, I dang near finished God of War, and then went on to God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna start playing it again tomorrow. Just because I'm so pumped for it that I want to play it now. And then I may, just like you said, I might play it right before the game comes out. It depends. We'll see if there's any other games coming out. But before that, usually there's an early May game, an early big May game. Tears of the Kingdom was last early May. I will say this. This has nothing to do with it, nor should it have anything. I'm just kind of find it a little funny. The last time Xbox released a game late May with another big May game competing with it, it was a disaster. Redfall released late May last year, so hopefully Hellblade can redeem that. Not that it should have to, but it kind of is a coincidence. So yeah, I'm just throwing that out there. But one thing we have yet to talk about this in terms of Hellblade, which is crazy because I feel like that is outside the story is the biggest part of the game. It just looks like a visual and technical masterpiece. Holy smokes.
Oh yeah, the quality in it is nutty.
Dude, literally. So many times in the trailer, every time I see it, I'm just like, wow, how the amount of just incredible effort you have to put into that is just beyond me. It absolutely insane, man. And it is Unreal Engine 5, and I feel like you can tell.
No, really?
Yeah.
No, God.
So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. But that's gonna do it for Hellblade 2. All right, moving on to the third game. This was the big surprise. I like how they did it. I have to say, before we get into the game, I have to say, I think the whole format of the developer direct and its whole gimmick is really cool. It's this little web browser that they're using Photoshop or something to edit draw circles.
I like that.
Dude,
like that a lot.
it's so cute. I
It's
love
cute.
it. It is. And then the fact that whenever Square Enix came in,
Don't
they were
call
like
it
guest
cute. It's
calling.
awesome.
Yeah, they were like guest calling. It was like a
Hmm.
FaceTime thing, and then they click answer, and Square Enix shows up. I'm just like, this is awesome. This is so little cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
John.
what?
Don't call it cute. It's cool. It's not cute. It's cool.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's dope. All right, there you go.
It's cool.
It's cool.
Do you remember your mom?
What?
That's cute.
Oh.
No, it's supposed to be cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. I do
Anyways,
remember that.
continue.
Oh, that's funny. I was so confused for a second.
Notice.
I was like, what? But yeah, so Hellblade 2 ended, and then in my reaction, I'm like, all right, they're definitely saving Indiana Jones for last, so here we go. Our History Untold. Well, because last year, like when they first started the show, it was like, get ready to see 4 big games, and then they scratched out 4 and then put 5, and then Hi-Fi Rush showed up. This year it was like,
Which is cool because it's Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh wow,
Like,
that's
it's like almost
your
like high
puns
five.
are unrelentless today, and I don't know how I feel about it.
You know, we'll go there.
That pinky be hitting different. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's the pinky power. Pinky
Yeah,
puns.
I had to break. I had to break it before I can make it.
Wow. Oh. Wow. All right. Nope. All
I'm
right.
so sorry. Continue.
So this year they were like, get ready for 4 big games, and they didn't scratch out 4. They just actually
4
went on
big
with the show.
I'm so sorry. Continue.
I
I'm so
swear to
sorry.
gosh. And so
Continue. I'm so sorry.
they didn't scratch that out. It was just 4 big games, and and they continue with the show. So I was like, okay, well, maybe there actually just will be 4 games, and then we got done with Hellblade 2. We're about to go to Our History Untold, and it goes guest calling, and I'm like, uh-oh, here it goes. I was totally expecting like Double Fine to show up or something. Square Enix pulls up in its V8 V8 by 8 rectangle or square.
Who's up in the Porsche?
Yeah, and I see the art style, and I'm like, no way! Out of every game to show up, this is the game they're doing, and it was Visions of Mana. And okay, I think I cracked the code of not cracked the code. I think I pinpointed exactly why I'm so excited for this game. To me, this looks like, and I know this is funny because the Mana series is way older than the game I'm about to mention. And it's a completely different genre technically, but it looks so similar. To me, this is like Square Enix's Immortals Phoenix Rising.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Actually, I actually literally made that comment to Kiera because, like I said, I had my phone up and we were watching it together while she was at work, and like, I'm talking about it, I'm like, man, this looks like Immortals Phoenix Rising. She's like, what's that? And I'm like, it's that Greek game I was playing, and she's like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, no, it's dope. No, it's exactly what I thought. Just the way like the movement is and everything, it looks cool.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm very excited. Yeah, no, I like I said, I think I pinpointed exactly why, and it's because the game, what I think is the most underrated game of all time, Immortals Phoenix Rising, in my top 20 of all time. It's I think it's my favorite Ubisoft game of all time. I had to think about that. I think so. Yeah. I was like, yo, this looks exactly like it. The art style, the movement, the gameplay, all of it just looks different. The only thing that doesn't look like it is it's not Greek. It's like Dragon Quest meets Pokemon. Yeah. Dragon Quest meets Pokemon is basically what it looks like to me. But yeah, I think this trailer solidified that it's not just a weird hype that I got over a cool art style. I actually think the game looks really solid. I think it looks really, really good. Do I think the combat looks like the coolest combat I've ever seen? No, it just looks like JRPG combat, which is great. Most JRPGs do have really good combat. And I think I love how they got the guy with the dope trench coat. I don't know if you saw his trench coat, but it was the coolest looking trench coat I've ever seen. I like how they got him to talk about it. He creates all the creatures for the game, and he just went on a rampage of how he created all these creatures, and I'm like, okay, I like what they're doing here. Like, a large majority of that whole showing throughout for Visions of Mana was all about the world and the characters, and I'm like, that is exactly what I want from a JRPG. Like, JRPGs aren't known for having the greatest combat and gameplay of all time. They are known for their world and their characters and their story, and I feel like that is exactly the point they got across with this showing, because I left really curious to see what the actual plot of the game was, because it's such an interesting world and there's so many unique little creatures and characters. I'm like, why are we hunting all these little cute creatures? Like, it's gonna be hard playing it because you have to kill some like little really cute creatures. I'm like, why are you killing that thing? But yeah, it was great. I don't know if you caught this when you were watching. I was stunned when they said they have worked really hard and they have put 100 tracks in this game's OST.
That was, yeah, I did catch that, and I like I said, I had to watch it. So reading the subtitles and then seeing the 100 thing, and I was like, hey, pause. What
I
you
don't
just say to
know.
me? And then I had to reread it.
How do you even do that? Like, how do you even fit
By
100
being
tracks
goated.
into a game? Like, is it in one?
By being
Is it
goated, man.
Is it like a 100-hour game and every hour is a new track? Like what's going on here?
Should be. I
Facts.
wonder. Well, it's. I mean, it's. I think kind of way they talked about it, isn't it? Like it's like a highly immersive environment. Like the world and stuff is. So I wonder if if each there. I wonder if there's a bunch of tracks just tied to different areas, and then like you have like a bunch of set tracks that'll play in that area, and then once you move on to a
Maybe.
new area, you have a bunch of set tracks that move to.
They did say they are implementing a new system, which I don't know why they said this, because I feel like a lot of games have this, where basically music will alternate when like seamlessly when you start combat, like when you get an encounter, like the music will like adaptively switch to a different track to fit the mood or genre, which I can get that, but like I feel like a lot of games just start playing more intense music when you start initiating combat. I don't think they got the point across. I feel like what they're trying to say is like, because there's going to be a lot of different environments and a lot of different creatures, that the music is going to fit the creatures or the environment you're in, right? So if you're in like a snowy area and you start an encounter, it's going to feel a little different than like if you would start an encounter in like grasslands, maybe with like a little rabbit instead of fighting like a little ice turtle or something, maybe something like that. But I don't know. They made it seem like they're implementing something very new with like adaptive music switching from out and in combat. I'm like, I feel like almost every game has that, but I could be wrong. And who knows? They, like I said, maybe they didn't get the point across, but to me that was a little weird. But the fact that there's 100 tracks, I'm like, bro, give me a pint of whatever they're cooking with, because that's insane. If I had that much, if I could put out 100 videos a year, I'd be stoked.
For real.
Like,
be honest with you, for real.
That's insane. But yeah, good job on them. But I have to say, out of all of it, still undoubtedly my favorite part of the game is the art style. I'm just in love with it. Yeah, I really do. I'm very happy this game showed up, because number one, this does a few things. Number one, it gets Xbox a really good publicity when it comes to Japanese. We know they've been trying to get better with Japanese. They had Wolong, which was a early, I don't know if it was exclusive, but it was day one on Game Pass. They were partnering with Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja. They brought Wolong. They've been getting all the Persona games, and Atlas has been their best friends. They literally are making an exclusive game with Hideo Kojima. You can't get more mainstream Japanese than that. And now they literally got Square Enix, which is a company they've been trying to grow stronger with, on their first party event to start the year.
Wolong is actually Chinese.
Yeah, but the studio is still Japanese though.
I know. I just wanted to state that,
Oh,
like,
okay.
just state that, like, right there. Like,
Oh,
you said Japanese, and you were like, then you said that, and I was like, Wolong is Chinese, but
yeah, no, I was talking about
whatever, I
like the
guess.
actual like studios and developers, but
Yeah, the studio
no,
and
I get
everything.
that.
Yeah, no, I get it. I was just
Okay.
making sure the viewers out there knew.
You like had me confused for this. I'm like, wait. I was like, wait a minute.
Pause.
But yeah, so the fact that Square Enix showed up at their first party event to kick off their year is really huge for that. Number two, Xbox needs more Japanese games, and this is a big Xbox, not exclusive, or they didn't announce it would be day one on Game Pass. I have a feeling it might be though, which would be awesome. Coming out summer, so we do have a summer game to look forward to. Very excited about that.
Good to hear.
And especially since JRPGs are known for being quite long, it'd be nice not having school when this game comes out, so I can actually sink a lot of hours into it. And then number three, I think this is really interesting because this confirms for future Xbox developer directs, third party can show up. So that is very interesting.
President has been set.
Right. Just like last year, the expectation was set. Something could shadow drop. There could be a hidden game. They kind of kept that going with this one. They had a hidden game, not necessarily shadow drop, but they broke another barrier and be like, yo, we got third party up in this place. So
They might shadow drop at another game or another event.
Yeah, it is a little weird. That is the one question I have. We'll kind of go back into it later after we're done talking about indie. But they don't really have a game until May. Now, I think I know what happened. I think Stalker 2 did get that Q1 2024 window, so I think that would have been our early Xbox exclusive day one on Game Pass big AAA game. Unfortunately, it did get delayed and is now confirmed for September 5th, 2024. I don't know if you saw that, but it did get an official date. So I think they were maybe banking on that to be their early game, and that unfortunately did not play out, which is completely okay. We understand that is like one of the easiest games to be okay with a delay because there is legitimate reasons it's getting delayed. I mean, not to say other games that get delayed don't have legitimate reasons, but that is a like if you complain about that, you are wrong. Like that is
Agreed.
But yeah, they don't really have an early game, so I'm curious if they're just gonna go with that, which I'm not gonna be too upset if that happens because we do have a lot of games to look forward to already. Not necessarily Xbox related, but yeah, a little interesting there. But yeah, man. Visions of Mana, I'm still really excited for it. Yeah, really happy that showed up. And I have to say, last year, like it was so long ago, I have been saying for a while now that Square Enix is actually one of my least favorite publishers at the moment, just because outside of Final Fantasy, which even then, Final Fantasy 16 didn't like. It wasn't one of my favorites. I thought it was really good. I didn't think it was like amazing. I thought it was really good, but outside of Final Fantasy, Square Enix really hasn't done anything for me in like a long time. Like the last best Square Enix thing I could think of is maybe
Avengers.
Even then, I don't even know.
No, it was a joke.
Probably FF7 Remake, actually. Low key, that 2020, that was probably the last thing that I was in love with Square Enix. And, I mean, like, Guardians of the Galaxy I really liked, but it wasn't, like, universally praised. Avengers was fun, but obviously was not executed great. Just Cause 4 was before FF7 Remake. Near
Dog, you're completely skipping over. You're completely skipping over a game, man. Come on, you just finished it.
FF16.
Final Fantasy. Yeah.
I literally just said that.
I thought you said Final Fantasy 7. I was like,
before I said 16. Or yeah, before
Okay.
7 I said 16. But I said
It's like
I wasn't in
sitting here
love
thinking,
with.
like,
I
what?
said I wasn't in love with FF16 though.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah,
was the
yeah.
problem.
Okay, yeah.
And so, like, and the problem is they put out a lot of garbage too. They put out a lot of games that are like, I feel like don't really have a reason. Like Babylon's Fall was debatably the biggest disaster of
God.
last year. Um,
Ooh, there's a lot. So
yeah, and there are so many bad Square Enix games, and then even outside of that, there hasn't been a lot of games that I've personally loved, and then outside of that, Final Fantasy carries them hard. And they like sold their Tomb Raider team, and they
I
sold
can't
Eidos
believe that.
Montreal, and so like Square Enix has really not been doing it for me whatsoever. Like they're one of my least favorite companies, and I do have to say their 2024 is looking pretty good. FF7 Rebirth and Visions of Mana both looking really good. Unfortunately, they have that stupid Foam Stars game coming out in like 2 weeks that I personally think it looks awful, but who knows? Who knows? But yeah, so really happy Square Enix showed up and showed us a really good game in Visions of Mana.
I know this is very much random, but John, if you get the chance to look outside, it's snowing.
Oh, is it really?
It's snowing.
Is it like snowing, or is it like snowing?
It's just snowing. It's nothing too bad yet.
Okay. Alrighty. All
I
right.
knew what you meant. I knew what you meant.
Let's get talking about that bread and butter. All right.
Mm,
Indiana Jones and the what?
the Fantastic Orb.
That's right.
I don't like that name.
And the
Like,
Great Circle.
dude, it's so dumb.
They should call it like the
They
Ancient Circle
literally.
or something like that. Like the Ancient
Well,
Circle.
no, I literally said this before. What was it? It was like Magni Circum or something like that.
Yeah.
Like they literally said the translated name for the Great Circle in the trailer, and I'm like, dude, this is like every other Indiana Jones movie has a better name than this. I
Yeah.
like the Dial of Destiny. That was good. You obviously can't beat Raiders of the Lost Ark or the Last Crusade or the
No.
Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
Or the Crystal Skull. Like those are all ones that like no matter how like, generic they seem, those like hit. But it's just
Yeah.
like Indiana Jones and that
Great
one
Circle.
orb. It's like
Yeah.
Indiana
I feel like literally the worst word is great. It's just such a
It's the great. Yeah, it really is.
like
It's such
you
a
you
bad
could put
like.
Ancient Circle, the Sacred Circle, or something like that. That sounds fine, but Great Circle. I don't know. It just it's not good.
Yeah, like great. The fact that it's one of the worst adjectives you could use to describe something.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just don't get it. Like there were so many. I don't know. There were so many like different. I just the Great Circle. I mean, I'll play it. Like obviously there's so much more we love about the game, but like
Right.
the
Well,
Great
yeah. The good
Circle's
news, ladies and
holds
gentlemen,
me.
is that is the absolute worst part of the whole game.
Facts. That's literally it. Like so far, I mean, oh my gosh, let me gush about it for a second.
Go right it,
The
bro.
face
Cook.
models, look. The face models. Oh my
Unbelievable.
god, the way they captured Harrison Ford's likeness in this game is balls to the wall is insane. Um, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if they have his scar, but Harrison Ford has a scar on his chin. Um, and I wonder if they actually got that in the game or not. I'll have to check
Oh,
out some of the
I didn't look
screen
for that.
caps. Um, but yeah, no, like oh my gosh, the the combat looks awesome too, and the fact that they made a point to say combat's not all of it, but they showed combat just to make sure that you knew that they did think about the people who are going to rush head first, into a problem
Yeah.
instead of looking for the other ways around it. I think the idea that they brought the puzzles. I mean, yeah, you think about Indiana Jones being like an adventure series, like it's he's going on these wacky adventures, he's fighting Nazis or whatever. But at the end of the day, he's an archaeologist
Mm-hmm.
who really likes just doing stuff. Like
Yeah.
he's literally going on this whole quest out of sheer curiosity more than he is have like a sense of moral duty. Like, he like obviously he wants to like defeat the bad guys, but literally they stated it inside the trailer. They were like, yeah, while Harrison or not while Harrison, while Indiana Jones is here for for curiosity, and then they like segued it to the second main character. What was her name? What was her
Gina.
name?
Gina, I think.
Gina. I couldn't remember if it was Gina or Dina.
I think it was
The
Gina.
Gina, who has more of a personal stake in this, which I'm glad they have another main character
Yeah.
because, don't get me wrong, Troy Baker could definitely carry a game. Troy Baker's the GOAT for real.
But the more the
But
merrier.
but the more the merrier. I mean, it's just kind of simple. I mean, as long as if you have another person for Indy to play off of, it's gonna be a good movie. Um, but another person for like a main character to play off of, it's gonna be a great video game.
Okay, I have a
Because you'll have that.
question real quick. I kind
What's
of,
up?
I don't know if I took it, I'm taking it a little too far. To me, it almost seems like we're going to have like Mary Jane type missions with Gina.
We probably will. We probably will.
Like, I could totally see
Not,
Indy getting like captured or something, and you have to go save him as Gina or something. Like, break him out or something.
yeah, yeah. I definitely could see that. I don't think it'd be that big of a deal because I wonder if she'll have a weapon compared
Yeah.
to Indy, who is like whip. You know.
Yep.
Because obviously you're gonna want to differentiate the gameplay between the two characters, somewhat well. Like you can't have like
Give her RPG.
it's not like a it's not like a Spider-Man 2 situation where it's like you have one who swings webs and then you have one
the
who
most
swings on
overpowered
webs.
little pistol.
Yeah, like honestly, that pistol was taking out
Everybody.
bodies.
Yeah, literally.
I mean,
Like,
Mary Jane got a kill
bro,
count
like,
of
if I had to
57
choose to
in that
fight
game.
Venom with the two Spider-Man or Mary Jane's pistol, I'm choosing the dang pistol. Low key.
Dog, she got that blicky on her. I mean, she stayed strapped. Like, she got that thing on her. But yeah, so I definitely do think there's gonna be a bit of that in there, but I don't think it's gonna be consistent because they didn't show us any, like at all. They showed her, but they did not show us any gameplay, so I don't think it's gonna be as major
Yeah,
as like maybe the Mary
I'm thinking
Jane
like
side
one or
quests,
two
which
missions
people
maybe.
yeah, even then, like I don't know if it's gonna be a lot, which I
Yeah.
hope it is because not like hope a lot, like Abby from Last of Us Part Two, but like I hope it's like a good amount to make sense, like where we can get a lot more of the story compared to like what Indy, because obviously a way to get connected with the story is to have personal stakes in the story, and Indy is just kind of like, I'm here. That's it. He's like, I'm looking for an old relic or whatever it was. Um, but Gina actually has some personal stakes in this, and so I'm excited to see how they use her as a plot device. Not just a plot device, but just see what they do with her character. Because whenever any of Indy's like Indiana Jones's female leads, you know, sometimes they're hit and miss. But I definitely hope this one will be like a good foil to Indy in his like his roguish nature.
Yeah.
It's like, if you can keep up, and he's like, what do you mean by keep up?
Dude, I have to say, like my favorite thing about the game right now is just how pitch perfectly they have captured this IP. Like, it could literally pass for the next Indiana Jones movie. Like, Indy as a character is portrayed perfectly. All his dialogue, all his like just body movements literally resembles him so perfectly. All the different set pieces, like the big old blimp in the sky, going to Rome, going to Himalayan mountains, going to like pyramids of Egypt. That is literally like, I feel like that's just ripped straight from a movie. Like the gameplay scenes, just like the fact that he whips somebody towards him and he just punches him in the face is so the movie
so many times.
Dude,
I'm like, that's like perfect.
Yeah, I'm like, this is the embodiment of Indiana Jones, and it just so happens to be in game form. Like, that is 100% my favorite thing. And the crazy thing is, I'm not even the biggest Indiana Jones fan. Like, I thought the movies are good. I wasn't a huge fan of the
I
last
love
one.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, man.
Oh
Raiders
yeah,
of the
I mean
Lost
it's a
Ark is so
classic.
good. I love Raiders of the Lost Ark.
And so like
The Last Crusade is pretty good too.
yeah, I've heard that. I've heard those are the best too. And but just even for somebody who isn't in love with the franchise, just seeing how just like painted perfectly the IP is in this game is like you can't help but just be super impressed and like super like excited. Um, and yeah, but yeah, I'll let you go and continue.
Um, they did actually get the scar on his chin, which is super
Wow,
cool.
that's
Love that. That's
insane.
awesome.
Yo, shout out to Machine Games for
Know,
getting the budget to even get Harrison Ford's face in there. That's crazy.
facts. He probably was like, "I'll do it for free, kid." Like,
Yeah, he probably
you
didn't care.
understand how much Harrison Ford loves Indiana Jones
Oh, I
compared to
know.
how he acts with Star Wars? I love the interviews where it's like whenever they're like talking about Indiana Jones or they're talking about Star Wars, he's like, "I just do it for the money." When it comes to Star Wars and Indiana Jones, he's like, "You see this hat? Oh, this hat takes me back." But no, I'm definitely. I mean, oof, I don't know. I'm so excited just to see what they do with the not even just Indy, but the villain.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know. They kind of were hyping the
You
villain
rather
up. They were like,
die trapped in the sands of Africa. Like, oh
yeah, it's like, oh, you should have built yourself a life of meaning.
yeah.
It's like they were like talking about how he's gonna be like, they found a villain that they love. You know, um, this charismatic villain who is very psychological.
I
I'm very
I
excited to see what they do with that.
I don't know if we ever made or if I ever told you or we ever talked about this, but I find it funny that they chose Machine Games to work on an Indiana Jones game because they also make the Wolfenstein games, which if you've played the Wolfenstein games, uh, like you're fighting Nazis, and so Indiana
I'm
Jones
glad Machine Game.
fight
Glad that
Nazis.
Machine Games hates Nazis, man.
Yeah, literally. So everybody makes a joke like, they're not the first studio you would think of to make Indiana Jones game, but when you think about the enemies they typically like to make, yeah, it's perfect. Nazis.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, like the switch from first to third person, good,
Mm,
great. Super excited that they're keeping a bit of that cinematic experience in
yeah,
the movie and from the movies in the game. Because
yeah.
like obviously you watch the movie, and I have the trailer up right here like playing as I'm talking. You have
I've
the
watched it
movie,
so many times.
it's very cinematic and stuff. And I'm glad that the game's like keeping that flow with the gameplay. Yeah, you're playing as Indy, going through all these different um going through all these different areas. But as soon as a cutscene hits, or like you're climbing up a pole or
Yep,
doing something incredibly cinematic, it switches to third person, which
yep,
makes it feel like I'm watching Indy. I'm
yep.
watching Indy, fight these bad guys. It's
And at the
super
same time,
cool.
I'm watching myself. It's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
I
like
have
I'm
to
Indy.
I have to say I mean, even in our last podcast, we really talked about this. I was under the assumption that it would be mainly third person, and
hmm
that's
I'm so glad that
actually
it's not.
yeah. And I even said that I beforehand I think I would have preferred third person, but after seeing it and them giving like their reasonings as to why, I almost would be disappointed for it to be third person now. Like at least primarily third person. Obviously, they have the third person in there, which is great. Um, but I think, I mean, for me, it's like three things. Number one, I think the whole puzzle solving, the whole using the whip, and like doing actions that Indiana Jones would do is something that you can portray in first person really well. Like the fact that you could pull someone towards you and then just start punching them in the face. That in first
Going
person is perfect.
sicko mode.
That is perfect. And then like fixing puzzles, like when he puts that like gear on like the like puzzle, or when he's like taking rocks and putting them on like these little holes on like a pedestal, that looks so great.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just looks, and then him like jumping from plane to plane, that in first person is great. And I think number two, um, is I think this is the best possible way to differentiate Indiana Jones from what everybody's going to be comparing it to if it was third person, Uncharted, and Tomb Raider. Now it's its completely own thing. So that I
I'm
think
so
is really
glad
good as well.
this game is just. I really hope that this game is super freaking good. You know, like
Yeah, yeah. They seem really confident in it. I'm not gonna lie. Like they really showed a lot here, which is really crazy for a game that beforehand all we had was a little title, like not even the title. It was just, hey, Indiana Jones, it's happening. That's it. That was all we had beforehand. And now we have so much. So
yeah, I'm. Depending on how good this game is, I almost want to like buy an Indiana Jones collection of movies and then just put the Great Circle in there. You know, like you have like the movies. Like if it plays out like a movie, you know, or
yeah.
something like that.
Well,
It'd be
it
like I have
actually
all
it
the
does
movies.
take place between Raiders of the Lost Ark
Raiders of the Lost Ark
and Last
and
Crusade.
Last Crusade.
Which isn't
So
Last
yeah,
Crusade the third one?
yes. So the Temple of Doom is actually before Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Ah, I see. I was
Yeah.
confused. I'm like, why wouldn't they say it's in between Temple of the Doom and one of them? Why would they put like?
Yeah. So
But that makes sense. So Temple of
yes.
Doom's pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah, it was a prequel, which people get confused on that all the time. So
I've only
um,
seen Raiders of the Lost Ark and Dial of the Dead Destiny. I've seen clips from all the other ones, but I've only seen those two. And even then, I
we're going
watched
to
them
make
so
you
long
watch
ago.
all the other ones,
I
man.
do. I kind of want to now. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
You know, you're gonna have to, man. It's a good movie, man. It's some good movies. Well, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is okay, and I've never
I've
actually
heard
seen
that
Dial
one's
of
awful.
Destiny, but I've seen the first three.
I
I'm a
personally thought Dial of
huge.
the Destiny was really boring. Personally,
Did you? That sucks.
yeah. But
Yeah.
uh, so yeah, they have a whip, the fisticuffs, and you can even pull
They
out
do, in fact.
his little revolver too. I
Yeah, I would say
found
I
really
did just
cool.
catch that in the. I did
Yeah.
just catch that in the trailer.
I think I'm actually really excited to do the whole stealth thing with him because that is also so Indiana Jones. Like that is perfect. Like I don't know. You saw the part where he like uses a shovel to like bonk him in the gulads, and then they like turn around and he like whoosh, uppercuts him with a shovel. I'm like that is literally something that is literally a scene from a movie. I swear to God. Like
Yeah, no, I do remember seeing that.
it is. I'm just so impressed on how well they captured it. Like in this game, it just seems like literally the next Indiana Jones movie that you get to play. That is unbelievable. Also, Todd Howard was in there and he like talked about it a lot. And he also seemed pretty passionate about it, which is pretty cool.
Personally, Todd Howard is not one of my favorite people in the world, so I don't care about his
Yeah,
words, but the
I mean,
developers' words, man, the way they seem so excited about the game,
oh yeah,
super glad.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I kind of agree with you. Like Todd Howard, like I don't know, he's fine. He's fine.
I'm glad he's just an executive producer.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Like I don't, you know, like I don't know.
Like we're not
I don't like Todd Howard because of
discrediting him.
Skyrim.
His wait, you don't like him because of Skyrim?
The fact that Skyrim has released like 17 different times under his, you know, reign and everything, it's not particularly my favorite thing ever.
Well, I was gonna say
Give me
like
_6 or 8, but-
he was the creator of like Fallout 3, Skyrim, and 4. So he does have a pretty good track record. But he was also in charge of Fallout 76 and in Starfield, which I mean Starfield I think is also still really good. It's nowhere near
Obviously,
Fallout 4.
I played through Starfield.
It's not nowhere near 4 or Skyrim or 3, but
I think it's actually better than Fallout 4, but
ooh, really?
that is a discussion for another day. Yeah,
Ooh,
I'm a huge fan of Fallout 4.
that's interesting.
I definitely played it a lot whenever it first came out.
Real
It was
quick,
one of my
just
first
because
games.
I know we've talked about it. I know this is completely random. We're going off topic. what is your like score for Starfield?
Score.
Yeah.
Score for Starfield. Considering everything I've said about it, I'm solid like 80.
I think I think that's where I think I may have given it a 7.5, but I think it's either 7.5 or 8 for me. Like
Yeah, like
I,
it's like a solid 8.
Yeah, I think it's just I think it's just a really good game. That's it. Like that, it's just really good.
Is it one of the best games of all time?
No, absolutely not.
By any means. Is it like cool concept? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Like
I'm very excited to
I
see
said,
what modders do with it.
right, modding, and then I think DLC, like the whole Shattered Space DLC that could come out, I think could be really, really cool. I think update, like, I really do think the game has a lot of potential. I just don't think it's quite there yet. But
No, not yet.
anyway, but yeah, Indiana Jones, man. Whew, what a showing. What a showing. Also, just out of the 4 locations that they showed, they even said that there are more locations. We have Rome. Awesome.
I'm super excited.
Awesome.
Super excited.
Egypt. Awesome. Himalayan mountains. Awesome.
Awesome.
And just a jungle. We love it.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of Indy's
like
go-to place.
Just those 4 are so diverse, and there's a lot of variety, and they're all really cool. Like it just seems really cool. Now the other thing I'd like to point out, I think the whole format and layout of the game sounds really awesome. That there is the main path, that there is your main missions, there are, you know, the places you're supposed to go and the order you're supposed to do them in, but there are difference in puzzles. There are required puzzles and there are optional puzzles. So you can, on your way there, just in the environment, it could be mixed in with a required puzzle. It could just be anywhere. You may never know. You may stumble across a trap. You may stumble across a secret room. You may stumble across a puzzle, and those are all optional things alongside all the required ones. And I think that's really cool because you could be doing a puzzle and end up solving a non-required puzzle by accident, or you may stumble across a trap that you're not supposed to. So I think that's really cool. Like to me, that like, I don't know, it just makes it more like intriguing, you know?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what do they mean, what they mean by secrets.
Right. Yeah.
Because like, what kind of secrets could you put in an Indiana Jones game? You know, like that's kind of cool.
You never know, dude. You never know.
You never know.
Just find a little gold statue of Todd Howard. He definitely put that in there somewhere. I guarantee.
I would throw it. I would eat that thing with my whip in an instant. I would throw that at an unsuspecting villain.
I don't hate him. He's definitely not one of my favorites, but
catch this.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I'm super blown away by that game. I'm very impressed, and now I'm super excited. And I've been looking on Twitter, and I've watched a couple reactions, and I even watched like a podcast that Podcast Unlocked did right afterwards. It's an Xbox podcast, and they were talking about it, and they said one of their biggest concerns going into it was that while Indiana Jones is really popular and does have a big name behind it, that it's not super popular with today's generation or modern audiences, and that they weren't sure if it would generate the amount of same hype and excitement that something like Spider-Man would do. But I think what the trailer has done, which is what they said and which is what I completely agree, which I even just said that I'm really not even a big Indiana Jones fan because I'm a part of that generation who is not really big into it, is that even if you're not Indiana Jones, it looks super good. Like in terms of cinematic, it looks great. Like it looks like a movie. It looks like a really fun gameplay. Like take the Indiana Jones license out, it still looks like a great game. But the fact is, it is an Indiana Jones game, and it just works from top to bottom. Yeah, kudos to Machine Games. You are the last people I would have expected to make an Indiana Jones game, and my God, I'm glad you are.
You're the only people I want to make an Indiana Jones game at this point. Like,
Right,
I'm not,
literally. It
you
looks
know,
so good. And
it-
ladies and gentlemen, it is confirmed for 2024. So that leaves us
that's awesome.
for our final little topic before we end it here. And that is, let's take an updated look at Xbox 2024. And I have to say, just off of today's thing, they already have a really good year. Like, I mean, let's be honest here, okay? If we're comparing it to Xbox One, they have a great year, okay? If we are comparing it to last year, personally, I think it looks better than last year.
Really?
Even if, okay, let's assume Redfall lived up to the hype. Let's go January of last year. Okay. We didn't know Hi-Fi Rush was happening, but let's assume we knew about it. Hi-Fi Rush, Redfall, Minecraft Legends, Forza Motorsport, Starfield, and like some other things, like some weird like Game Pass inclusion, like Quake 2 remaster, all that stuff, blah blah blah. But those are the big ones.
Minecraft Legends was a thing.
Yeah,
dude.
well, they already stopped supporting it because it just did not blow up the same way Minecraft.
That does not surprise me at all whatsoever, man.
But so yeah, let's take the big ones: Hi-Fi Rush, Redfall, Forza Motorsport, Starfield. Yeah, I think those are like the four big ones. I do believe. And let's take a look at this year now: Hellblade 2, Avowed, Indiana Jones. For me personally, these three games are up my alley more than Redfall and Forza Motorsport. Those two like drag that year down. Even if Redfall was a good game, it wasn't necessarily like a game I was super excited for. Unlike Starfield and Hi-Fi. Now, Hi-Fi and Starfield are both really good, but I think Hellblade 2 and Indiana Jones both look really, really good. And obviously Starfield wasn't like as like, masterpiece as everyone thought it was going to be, but it was still really good. So to me, I think this is looking better than last year. And the thing is, we're just in January. We're going to have the big summer showcase. We are gonna get a bunch of third-party games. Oh, I completely forgot. Stalker 2 is also this year. Literally completely forgot about that. So we also have that. So there you go. 4 and 4. 4 and 4. 4 last year. 4 this year. And to me, the 4 this year are much more exciting than last year's. Even though I'm not trying to down any game that came out last year, Hi-Fi Rush was my second game of the year, and I really like Starfield. But yeah, to me it just looks really good. But then we have to include here's the thing. This is why I think this year is just looking absolutely insane. This will be the first year we have an Xbox COD. Okay.
XCOD.
This will be the first year with an Xbox COD, and I'll be honest, I'm kind of excited because we're going back to Black Ops, and it is primarily made by Treyarch, and they have already announced that it will be a mix of new maps and remastered Black Ops 2 maps. Fire. And they are bringing back round-based zombies. Finally. And the classic create a class is returning. Already,
that's good.
Already that sounds like a much better COD than we have in years. And here's the thing, it'll be coming day one to Game Pass. Baller. Now the next thing you got to do, I am 99% sure we are getting a new Spyro game this year. It is the year of the dragon. 2024 is the year of the dragon, and they posted a little Twitter post at the beginning of the year of Spyro and said, 2024, you gotta believe. Come on now. I mean, Come on now. And then who knows what other game might come out this year? I mean, yeah, we. Oh, I completely forgot of another game coming out this year that is confirmed for Xbox exclusive. Flight Simulator 2024, the next entry in the Flight Simulator series. I'm not super big into it, but it is a big release. The other one, Arc 2, is also an Xbox exclusive, releasing this year. So I think their year already just looks really, really good. Oh, I think another game that is confirmed for 2024 that is an Xbox exclusive. I think this one's second party. Is Towerborn. I don't really know much about it. I do think it looks pretty cool, but I don't really know much about it to where I could talk about it a lot. But yeah, man. So here's
Is that Jurassic Park game
this year.
Xbox exclusive, or is that?
It's not Xbox
is that,
exclusive. No, it's not.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was or not.
No. I'm excited for that whenever that comes out.
We're getting a lot of '80s movies.
I was literally just about to say, I'm like, that's like right around the same era as Indiana Jones, actually, which is
Indiana Jones. Yes. Yeah, because I think Jurassic Park was made in like 81, maybe.
We just got a RoboCop game too.
Yeah. Actually, no. Actually, crazy enough, Jurassic Park was made in 1993. It was not the 80s.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why I'm saying that. I lied to everybody here.
There was Indiana Jones in the 90s though as well, right?
Nope.
No.
Nope. 89. 89. Yep. So it was 81, 83, and 89.
What about the Crystal Stall? Was that 2000s?
That was 2008.
Wow. So there was no 90s. Wow.
No, they completely skipped over the 90s.
That's kind of interesting.
Kind of nutty.
That is pretty wild. But yeah, to me, I think Xbox's 2024 is looking really, really good. I'm excited for a lot of games from them. And the thing is, how much money will you be spending on all these games, Christian?
Nothing, because Game Pass.
Exactly. You know,
We'll actually be spending like $16.04 a month. Exactly.
Right.
For all this.
And look, I don't promote console wars whatsoever, but competition is huge. Competition breeds excellence. Competition is very important. If you look on the other side, PlayStation has no first-party games except a remaster of Last of Us Part 2. And even if they did announce something, we would have to pay probably at least $70 for it. Whereas Xbox, we do have a lot of first-party stuff announced incoming, and we don't really have to pay anything for it. Now, that being said, I really want PlayStation to have a showcase here soon. I really do. Or even just a state of play, something. Give us something. They are unbelievably bone dry at the moment. But yeah, same thing with Nintendo. But we know Nintendo's coming. They're coming. But yeah, man. Any final things you want to add?
No, actually, I know. Honestly, I think we kind of covered everything I wanted to talk about when it came to the Xbox Developer Direct.
Yeah, we covered quite a bit. Oh, by the way, I did figure out what exactly happened to that Double Fine game. So it did start development in 2017, but they shelved it to whenever they were acquired by Xbox to further development on Psychonauts 2, because Psychonauts 2 was a fan-funded project for a while. And
really?
They were at a point where they didn't have enough to continue development of Psychonauts 2, so they started on that smaller game. But when Microsoft acquired them, they then gave them the budget to work on Psychonauts 2, so they continued on that and shelved that old game. But now that they're done with Psychonauts 2, they have picked that old game back up, and that's what they're working on.
That's cool.
That's really
cool.
sweet, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy that like just by a couple like different just like you talking about it, kind of researched our I guess, knowledge of it because I mean, not many people knew of Kiln back in the day. Like
Yeah.
we're back until but right before the developer direct.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
I will
Obviously it
say
being 2017, man, crazy.
I okay. Make your prediction now. What is going to be the release date for Avowed and Indiana Jones? My prediction.
Avowed?
I know it's weird.
Oof,
I know it's weird. My prediction for Avowed is going to be October. Okay.
I could
And
see it.
in my Indiana Jones prediction, this one might come as a shock to you. I'm gonna say August.
I was thinking June for
Yeah,
Indiana
I
Jones.
think it's gonna be summer. I really think it's gonna be summer.
Yeah, I did kind of agree with that
It just feels like
because
that
Indiana
summer
Jones is
blockbuster thing, you know? Like,
exactly.
yeah,
And then Avowed, I definitely could see it being fall and
yeah.
or winter. But then, like you said, that kind of leaves this like the first couple months of the year kind of feeling dry for
Well, like I
Xbox.
said, I think
But
Stalker
obviously it's
2 was
Stalker too.
supposed to be that, but I don't know.
You know,
Even then, that's
with
not
everything
first
going in
party, you know?
Ukraine right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
No,
don't
I
know.
get that.
We'll see. Luckily, we have a lot of third party games to keep us busy until May, but yeah.
Joke's on you. I'll be playing Bald Guy 3.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm
I'll
looking
be
forward
putting
to
another
FF7
170
so
hours in that
much.
game.
Looking forward to
Oh,
FF7.
I'm actually looking forward to Tekken 8. That'd be fun to
Oh
play.
yeah, that's really fun. That's next week. But yeah, so I think it's gonna be my prediction is gonna be August and October for those two games, and I'm gonna come out and say they're gonna have a either November or December game. I'm gonna guess either like South of Midnight or something like that.
See, I want to say they'd save. Is South of Midnight confirmed for 2021? For 2024? Not 2021.
Dang, 2020. No, it's not
It's
confirmed.
been a long day.
I'm
Okay,
just guessing.
I actually think that's gonna be next year.
Dude, that's what's crazy. They have so many games that now I'm almost like, okay, we have like a lot of games already confirmed for this year. Like, at what point do you start saving things for next year? Right? Like,
Like well, the South of Midnight, just the way we only got like a cinematic trailer, didn't we? Like it
yeah,
wasn't nothing, you know. So I think that's probably, in my personal opinion, I think that's gonna be summer next year. I think it's gonna be one of their summer games next year.
it's a good prediction.
And I think Avowed is gonna come out like November.
Okay,
My
I could also
guess.
see that. I could also see that. My only
Um,
other thought was like Avowed is like their big RPG this year, so maybe they'll release it around the same time Starfield came out this last year because that was their big RPG last year. So maybe September, but personally, I think it's gonna be like October, November, like you said.
mhm.
It just for fun. My completely random, like absolutely no knowledge, like I'm just throwing some random crap out there. My prediction for next year, I know we're talking about 2025, right? Early 2025, I think there's going to be that Clockwork Revolution game.
Okay.
Then I think for I'm going to say spring is going to be so like April or like yeah, like late March, April, May, even early June is going to be South of Midnight.
Mhm.
Summer is going to be. I don't know. I don't know about summer. I don't have a guess for that. I'ma just go ahead and say. I don't know. I'm gonna say the Double Fine game. Sure, I'll go with that.
Kiln,
And
Kiln
then
comes out.
I think for fall or holiday is going to be Fable next year. I think 2025 is Fable. I 100%
If
think
we don't hear
Fable.
anything about Fable this year, I'm rioting.
Oh, dude, we got to. I mean, come on.
What I'm saying.
Oh, I just thought. I know what's going to be the other game that comes out this year for Xbox. I just thought of it.
What?
Forza Horizon 6.
Worms Battlegrounds? Oh.
Forza Horizon 6.
That makes sense.
I
I,
think
feel
it's
like
gonna
it
have
has been a while since we got Forza Horizon 5.
I mean, yeah, it was 2021, and I mean,
No,
Forza
there's
Horizon
no
4,
shot.
Forza Horizon 4 was 2018. 3 years later, Forza Horizon 5. 3 years later, Forza Horizon 6.
There's not, man, no shot. It's been 3 years already almost.
That'd be crazy. So
I'm
that'd be really
gonna
cool, man. That'd be
cry.
really
It's
cool.
insane.
Think of the variety
Yeah.
they'll have this year if all this comes out. They'll have a platformer in Spyro, racing in Forza, first person shooter COD, first person adventure in Indiana Jones, RPG in Avowed, third person narrative driven game in Hellblade 2, their strategy game with Our History Untold, like their horror game with Stalker. Dude, like they have it all. It's wild what they are cooking. But anyway.
They got all their hands in different pots.
Oh, dude.
They're like, I want a bit of everything.
Bring on all the pots, all right?
All of them. I want all of them.
Oh, alrighty. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode. Next episode, we should be back to like actual, just in general news about the whole industry. And we're gonna go back to we're not gonna go back to. We're gonna start our actual scheduling. So episodes will be out on Thursday because we're gonna record them Wednesday afternoons or like nights. So yeah, we did this one special because obviously the Xbox Direct. But other than that, that's gonna do it. Got anything else?
Yeah, no, I kind of forget we have the same headphones, and so every time I look at you, I'm like, where's my headphones? And I'm like, oh yeah, I bought them because of you.
That's funny.
But yeah, sorry, that was my comment.
Alrighty, well, that's going to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, definitely leave a like, leave a comment in the section down below provided. And please subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Remember, guys, play your way. Have a good one, guys. Bye. Peace.
Bye.